Welcome to Let's Talk To podcast, hosted by author Charnel Williams. Are you ready to spend some time with Charnel and her special guest? Join our live conversation every Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, here's your host, Charnel Williams.
Hello, everyone. Hi, thank y'all for tuning in. Another segment of Let's Talk To podcast hosted by Charnel Williams. We got a special guest in the house. Y'all know all my guests are special. So let me get started. For those who just tuning in, my name is Charnel Williams. I'm an author, publisher. As y'all can see, I'm a podcast host, Plus, I'm doing my 8th annual Women's Empowerment this year. I made it to 8, y'all. I'm on 8 annual. So I want to thank everybody who's coming to and we still have tickets available. So please go get them tickets. And y'all see that QR code up there? Snap it, scan it. That's where y'all can find out more information of y'all on the 26th. Now let's get to our co-host, Janice. And how you pronounce your last name?
Kenyatta, yes.
Janice Kenyatta. Thank you for tuning in to Let's Talk. First time on Let's Talk To podcast. Your first time. So tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, I live in Wingat, Pennsylvania, and I was in education for 42 years. I was a high school business education teacher. I was born and raised in Newark, New Jersey, and then moved to Orange, and then Piscataway, and then eventually made my way to Pennsylvania. But I taught high school business education for about 28 years. And then I went into administration within the same school district in a career and technical education district. And I became a district level administrator where I supervised 70 teachers in over 31 different programs. So wow. I was quite busy. I retired from education officially in 2020. I'm sorry, 2019. And now I'm currently an author. I have, this is my second book, third book. So I'm a children's author right now with the book that we'll talk about. I guess we'll get into that later. So that's what I'm doing now, promoting my children's book.
Oh, okay. Congratulations on becoming an author. Okay, so because I hear you from Newark, New Jersey, you know that's my hometown.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, I'm from Newark. You ain't see me do this? I'm from Newark, New Jersey too.
That's
born
right.
and raised. I moved up to PA like in 2007, I think. 2007. I've been up here all this time. But yeah, I'm from Newark, New Jersey. That's my hometown. I still have family down there. You know, yes. So I go down there once in a blue, and once in a blue.
Yes.
So,
yes. So I moved here in 2003. 2003, I moved up to Albrightsville. Yes.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. How's Albright? I rode past there a couple of times in that town, but I never
Albrightsville is sort of parallel to where you are, to Mount Pocono. It's way up the mountain, just like you are, but it's a little bit over by the racetrack.
By the racetrack. Yeah. And y'all get that snow just like we get it.
Yes, we do. That's a 4-letter word in my book, but yes, we do get that snow. Or we did get when I lived up that way. Sure. Yes.
Yeah, that's snow. So we're gonna get into your books. I want to ask you some questions about your first book. You're a children author for now, and I'm saying for now because I know you're going to splurge and go to different genres and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So what made you get into writing, period?
Well, you know what? I was always into vocabulary and words. Even as a child, I always tell this story. I used to read the World Book encyclopedias. I was a nerd, of course. I guess maybe you would call me that. But I like reading, always like reading. And at some point, when I was around 15, I wanted to write a novel. I was always a reading buff, but I wanted to write a novel. And I sat down to write a novel, and I only ended up writing one paragraph because I just could not get the story together. I couldn't get the words together. I think I just was too young, and I didn't have enough experience to write a quote unquote novel. So I kind of diminished that idea up until fast forwarding when I was with my now ex-husband. And he decided that he wanted to write a book called, and this is our first book, Black Folks' Hair, Secret, Shame, and Liberation. And he's an African studies professor. So we decided to write a book that would inspire and empower women of color to love their natural hair, and also to delve into the historical context, psychological, sociological reasons why people who have curly hair want their hair straight, why they straighten hair. Very deep and very volatile subject, but a very important subject, because so many women have low self-esteem about their curly and their natural hair. So we wanted to address that issue. And we co-wrote this book in the 90s, the mid 90s, and published it. It was all the rage. It got a lot of attention. I mean, you remember the Star Ledger, Charnel?
Yes, I do.
They did a big spread on us, our pictures, the book. It went all around the world, and it did very well, because it was a very enlightening book on loving yourself the way with your God-given features. So it covered a lot of ground, but the historical piece was the most important. So that's how I started really getting into writing, where I wrote part of the book from a female perspective, and he wrote it from African studies professor as well as a male perspective. So that's how we did the book.
And what made you, when you first started writing, first started writing, did you know you was going to publish it? Because a lot of people write and don't publish.
We wrote it knowing full well that we would publish it. We were very passionate about the subject at that time. So we wrote it with the full on purpose that we were going to publish this book, and we did do. That was the first book that we self-published, and it worked out very well. I mean, it's still on Amazon. We still sell it on Amazon. And I still have people, when I set up my tables and go places, I'll have it on my table, and there's still people who are interested in the book. So it's it'll be around. It's been around for 30 years. So it'll be around for a while. Yes.
Wow. So that's good. Me and my husband, we did a book together, but we did like a anthology with a couple of more authors. I think it was like 6 of us. He wrote his chapter, I wrote my chapter, and it's just fun. But sometimes, sometimes you can't work with your husband. I'm just saying, sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. But it's just hard. Like when you're trying to, because I'm the publisher. You understand what I'm saying? Not saying I know everything, but I know a little bit about which should be done, what should be done, how many word counts you should write for this anthology, because my publishing company do the anthologies. So it's just, I don't know. And real life, I guess we can work, because he's the host of my Yana 26. He always been my host. He always been my host.
I don't even have a personality, I guess.
Yes, he talk. Look, he always been my host. And I think like the first couple of times I asked him to be the host and he was willing to be the host. I think I'm having Yana the 8th annual, I'm having it. And he just know like he going to host. I don't even, because that's his place now. He be like, well, you got to host your own. No, it's your place. The people love you now.
If it's not broke, don't fix it. If it's
broken, right. And he's a great host. You want to meet him when you come. He's a great host, and he's from New Jersey too.
Oh, okay.
So yes. So
Newark in the house.
Yes, Newark is in the house, yeah. So yes. So your second book, let's talk about what made you, and how long after your first book did you start writing your second book?
Now here's the clincher. This is the backstory that gets everybody. So we wrote this book in like 96, 97-ish, published it. And during that time, I was knee deep into teaching high school. And so I'm full aware, based on the subject matter that I wrote in this book, about the whole natural hair, phenomenon, and what a lot of Black women were going through in workplaces and that kind of stuff, because we talk about the workplace and wearing your natural hair and how it was frowned upon and all that stuff back in the 90s. It's a little better now, a lot better, but there's still work to be done. But anyway, I was teaching a high school class, and at the end of the class, and it was shortly after Black folks' hair came out, maybe about a year or two. And I heard a young girl say, and this was still in the 90s, I heard a young girl say, I hate my hair. She said, no, this is what she said. I hate my hair. I think Black folks' hair is a curse.
Oh.
And I had just written a whole book on loving yourself and loving your hair. And to hear this young lady at 16 say this, it got me right here. And it spoke to my soul. I said, you know what? I think this whole knowledge of loving yourself, self-love, and respecting those differences in other people has to start when you're children. When you're 16, 17, 18, 19, the brainwashing or the dislike of yourself for whatever reasons, based on what you see in social media and what the aesthetics that you see don't line up with the way you look, that is already embedded in your head. But as children, how would that look? What would that look like if, because we did this with our two girls. From the time they're born, you say to them, you are beautiful just like you are. Your hair is beautiful, your complexion, all of that. That has to start when they're children before they get into what I call the world. So when that young lady said that, I immediately went home and said to my husband, then I want to write a children's book. And I want to start it as where it's a baby that grows up to 6, 7 years old, and the parents are constantly telling them that to love themselves just as they are, blah, blah, blah. And I said I wanted to call it Just As It Is.
Right.
That was 25 or 30 years ago, just about 25 plus years ago. So I wrote the manuscript, Charnel, and then we built the house in 2003 up in Albrightsville. I had a 175-mile-a-day commute to continue to work in New Jersey.
I know about that.
As an educator and an administrator, and life got in the way. I had 2 young girls to raise when we moved up here and built the house. And I completely forgot that I wrote this manuscript. I completed it, but I didn't know I did. Life got in the way. So I'm going to fast forward to 2021. When, after 35 years of marriage, my ex-husband and I decided to separate and divorce. We sold our house in Albrightsville in one day. And so we had to vacate the premises, And so he was cleaning up the attic. I guess, and the basement and all that. When I moved into my current place where I am now, got my own place in Wingate, he called me a week later and said, you finished that book. He said, you finished Just As It Is. I said, no, I didn't. I only started. I didn't finish it. I said, how do you know? He said, I found it in the attic with some things that I had with my stuff. And he said, you have to publish this book. That was in 21 of maybe October-ish. November-ish, and he said, this is a great story, you need to get it out. Otherwise, if we had not separated, I say it's divine intervention in different ways. If we had not separated and sold the house, we would have never found this manuscript, because I would talk about it. But once I read it, I said, oh my God, this is still relevant to today. We have so many little girls, I see it, I hear it, that don't love themselves. And a lot of their parents are not fully equipped because they don't love themselves. So they're not equipped to raise their children to love their natural features just as they are. But the second part of this book also talks about not ridiculing and bullying people because they look different from you. So it's a 2-part message that I'm extremely passionate about. If anybody sees me on Facebook or any social media, you can tell I'm passionate about this subject, because the second message is respect the differences in all others from all ethnic and cultural backgrounds. We don't do that enough. We teach self-love, some of us, but we don't teach young children, to not bully people because they're different. So it's a 2-part message. And so when I saw that, I said, I got to get this book out. And that's when I called you, Charnel. You don't remember.
Wait. Janice, you're making me feel bad now. You make me feel bad now because I know you talk to a lot of
people. You don't remember me, but I called you. I needed an illustrator. And by working in career and tech ed, I knew people, and I knew a young lady who had moved away in another state, and her prices were a little exorbitant, a little above my budget. So I was looking for an illustrator, and somebody mentioned your name and said, ask Charnel Williams. She does publishing. She wrote children's books. I said, who's Charnel Williams? And then they told me you lived up in Mount Pocono. I said, she lives right by where I used to live. And so I called you. You recommended Navi Robbins, who's on this book as the illustrator. And you said he does a good job. I checked him out on Amazon. I checked out. You said go check his work out on Amazon. I did that. I'm a good researcher. I checked it out and I contacted him. He was in Texas, lived in Texas. They might still be. And I liked his work. He said, like what I saw on Amazon. And then he became my illustrator. And I get more compliments than any on the cover of this book as
and
well.
I never worked with him. I just seen his work.
Yes,
I never met him. I never worked with him or nothing. So I just say, and that's what I mean. We all can like support one another without knowing each other.
Yes. And I was so grateful for you at that time. And I could have spoken to you another time after that, but I don't remember what it was. And I know you don't remember.
Don't make me feel bad, Janice. Don't make me feel bad. I'm getting, I got a little menopause going on, okay?
Yes. So what he did was he said, you have to go find me some images or something of what you want your characters to look like. And that's what I did. And that's how I got this family here. I pieced this together and he did a wonderful job in replicating and bringing my vision to life. So that's another thing that I'm proud of. He really did a good job. So I have to thank you, Charnel, for introducing me to
You're welcome.
So the book technically was written a long time ago. It was brought back to life a couple of years ago, but the messages are still as relevant back in the 90s as the messages are still relevant today. So that's why I continue to promote it.
And that's good because I wrote a journal about bullying. Because bullying, people don't know bullying still occur. And we talked about this last night on my show. Yes. And some people don't understand about, yes, you can get bullied in a workplace. Bullying is not just happening in school, not in schoolyards. It's happening all over. You understand what I'm saying? Yes. And a lot of people don't understand that, yes, you can. As a grown up, I probably was bullied. I think I was bullied at my job. You understand what I'm saying? I'm just saying. You know, you can get bullied anywhere, everywhere. It's not just for kids no more.
Yeah, your next door neighbor could bully you.
Right.
So yes, bullying doesn't happen with children, but unfortunately, these people have not, for some reason, they have not processed and learned that this is not what you do to people. They haven't processed this. Somewhere in their childhood, this was missing, and they grew up as adults, and they do the same thing. So right.
So it's just hard. That's why I'm trying to get it out to everybody. Like bullying is not, bullying is not the way to go. And I'm sure, I'm positive. Even though yes, I'm from Newark, New Jersey, I probably got bullied before. I don't remember, but I don't recall because back in the day we didn't call it that.
No,
we called it picked on. Remember the word picked on?
Yes. I remember my first bullying experiment on me was in 4th grade. I was living in Newark. I guess we moved. I was a new kid in school, and I went to this started this new school at 4th grade, and this girl and her entourage followed me and bullied me. I don't know why. They just picked on, they picked on me for no reason. And so that, I think about that when I thought about that when I wrote the book as well. But they picked on me, and she actually said, "Do you want to fight?" And I said, "Okay, now I got to make a decision here. I can't look like a wimp." So we actually fought.
Wow.
And she, do you know when I stood up to her, because that's what you have to do with a bully. You got to stand up. When I stood up to her, she ended up wanting to be my best friend. We were in the 4th grade.
Yeah.
I often wonder what happened to her because she was a bully.
But that's what you got to do. You got to stand up to them bullies. Long as they keep thinking that you're a punk, you're a coward, you can't fight, whatever, they're going to keep on picking.
Absolutely.
Until you stand up. And we're not saying violence is the answer, because violence is not the answer, but sometimes you gotta, I don't know. But it's not the answer.
I know. Sometimes you gotta put them in their place a little bit. And I'll leave it at that. But you know what? Your point as well, so that you can see that and the audience can see if they hear this, to provide inclusivity, because I want this message to be worldwide. That's my goal. Well, and I enjoy going into schools. I do that, going into schools and discussing this subject. But I also had the book published in Spanish, just so you know.
Oh,
So
okay, you got
the
two. Okay.
Spanish version, and it's all Spanish. And so that means if I want to get this promoted in Latin countries or countries where the English where they speak Spanish, that's something I want to work on as well. I want to make it universal or international, I guess I should say.
So you self-published. You didn't go through a publishing company.
I self-published with my ex-husband. We were still. Okay. He also does my website, and so we I mean, he kind of took me what to do. But
on
now
both books.
The Spanish book I did self-published myself.
Oh, okay.
Now, the Black Folks Hair book.
Yeah, the first book you and your husband did.
He did that. We did that together. And I also have another book. You mentioned the anthology. I also have an article in here. This is Rising Through the Pain. It's an anthology based on scripture, how to cope with and deal with grief or loss in your life. We all have loss and grief. Everybody, as long as we live, we're going to have loss and grief in our lives. And I kind of like that. And I wrote an article because I like to write. I wrote an article just on GP on being happily divorced. I know it's funny, but it's true. I wrote it, and it's sort of light, kind of funny about being, you don't have to share the remote anymore. I mean, I wrote it, the bathroom stays.
Wait, Janice, you took it to the remote. You don't have to share the remote. You don't have to tell me just snatching the remote.
But I didn't put all of that in here. But in the other article, which I do want to get published somewhere, but I cut it short because we had to use only a certain amount of words. I cut it short. So my article on being happily divorced, based by scripture, is in this anthology, along with 89 other authors who also.
Oh, that's a lot.
Yeah, it's 90 authors in this altogether.
Wow.
Yeah, so they've been doing it. She's been doing it for about. You've heard of Vanessa Blackwell?
Oh yes, Vanessa. Yes.
Yeah, she's the coordinator of this project. She's been doing it for about 3 or 4 years. This is the latest one. This came out last year.
Oh, okay. That's a nice cover too.
Yeah.
I do anthologies, but I'll be only asking for like 10 people. Because I don't know my reading experience. Wow. I can't read a big, thick book. You understand what I'm saying? I just can't do it. So when I break it down, 10 authors or less for my anthology.
I think that's very manageable. That's manageable.
5,000 word count. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I just got to break it down because I know I'm not a long reader. For you to read, just say, for instance, a 365 page, just say, that book got to be very interesting.
Absolutely.
That got to be a turner page. You got to keep turning that page and say, oh, I can't wait. Yeah. So me, it's not like that for me. Maybe I never met that book or read that book but I just can't. I can't read for a long time.
Short and sweet.
Yeah, short and sweet. That's why I love doing anthologies, because with my anthologies, it's 5,000 word count. And that's good for me because it's only 5,000 word count. You understand what I'm saying? So I just can't keep on doing and then just reading, because sometimes you get bored. Sometimes it depends. If you're on a plane, okay, reading is good on a plane.
Yes.
Reading, it depends on where you at. It depends. So
absolutely.
But I wrote my children book. I did a 3-part series. So do your children book, the last one, do it have a second part coming out, or no, that was it?
You know what? I did contemplate, and I did start it 2 years ago. I started a second one. I didn't mention also, because I was going to say her name. I also designed a doll, the Abina doll.
You do that?
Yeah.
I had a lady on my show that made dolls like that.
Yes, this is a plush, 14-inch plush doll, and she is in the image of the main character, Abina. Okay, so I was going to write my second book, giving her a brother, but you know what? And this is the advice that I give authors: you got to write something. When you write children's books, or any book for that matter, but specifically a children's book, it's got to be something you're passionate about.
Right.
And as I was writing that trying to get my thoughts together for the book, and then you know what I'm talking about, I got writer's block.
Right.
But not only that, I have been getting so much mileage off of Just As It Is. I don't even have time to write another book right now. And that is not my my goal. My goal is not to just spew out a bunch of books. I mean, people do that. That's fine, but that's not my goal. My goal as an educator, because I am an educator at heart, my goal is to get to not so much promote or write books, but to promote the messages in this book. And so that takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of promotion. And as I mentioned to you before, I am passionate about getting in front of children. I'm passionate about getting into schools, elementary schools, that kind of engagement with children. And because I'm an educator and I'm animated and I know I can do, even though I taught high school, I love the little kids now because I don't have to teach them every day. But I love them with this book and this story because it brings out things that I want them to grow up with and to remember, an author telling them these things. So my passion does not lie in like writing book after book after book. My passion lies in getting in front of children, spewing this message, inspiring, empowering students to love themselves and to respect others. So that's where I am right now. Yeah.
Right. And that's good. You're sending out a message.
Yes.
Some authors, they just write just to write. No message behind it, no nothing. But you sending out like a message and that's good. That's great.
I think it has something to do with when I wrote the first book. It just has something to do. I like, because I needed that in my life too, growing up. I like making people feel good about themselves. I think that's very important. And I always say your first love affair is with yourself. If you don't love yourself, how could you possibly wrap your mind around loving your family members and stuff? It starts with you. So that's very important to me. And again, as I say, you got to write about something that you're passionate about, because then it doesn't seem like work.
Right. And that is so true. That's real true. So what you got coming up? What besides writing, what do you have coming up? It's 2026.
Traveling. I'm going to Costa Rica in 2 weeks.
Oh wow, for real?
Yep.
See, that's on a cruise or a plane?
No, this is a plane. I went to Ghana, West Africa, back in 22, and I met a wonderful group of women. We call ourselves the Ghana Girls, and we had such a good time. And we vowed that every couple of years we would meet somewhere internationally. We would meet somewhere, but we met 2 years ago at Cape May. But we have one of the girls moved to Costa Rica a couple of years ago, so we're all going to go over there and spend 10 days over there and just do our girls thing and just have fun, let our hair down, so to speak, and just relax. So one of the things as an author, a children's author at this point, and a person who engages, at various times in school, I'm retired. I don't want to feel like I'm working on, I always say, like I'm working on a chain gang. I don't want to feel like, that I did that for 42 years. I worked hard every day, including my commute and all, and being a mom and a wife and all that stuff, career woman. So in my retirement, this is fun for me, what I do.
Okay.
So I want to keep time for a couple of things. My health, because I'm a cancer survivor, breast cancer survivor.
Oh, congratulations. Yeah.
Thank you. Got that diagnosis a year after I retired from my job, from my career. I got a cancer diagnosis in 2020. So I want to enjoy my life. I want to keep my health together, and I want to be able to have a relationship in my life. I want to be able to do other things. So this is not my whole life. It's a very important part of my life.
Right.
But I want to spend time with my grandchildren. Just things that I want to do, but I also want to inspire other authors and other people who want to start their own business after the age of 65.
Right.
We started this all after the age of 65.
Because it's never too late.
Never too late. Never too late. I always tell people, life is not over because you get cancer. Life is not over because you're 65. Life is not over because you're 70. It all depends on your outlook. And I always tell people, have a purpose. If you have a purpose in life, you can keep on going until you can't go anymore.
Yeah. And that's true. Like everybody I think I was talking to somebody and their mother was going back to school.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the mother was like 71. And she was telling me, my mother too old. I don't know why she want to go to school. She ain't tell her to go to school. She
No.
gonna be in school with college kids. But I was like,
So,
it's never too late.
and
Let her do what she gotta do.
that's right. Absolutely. Absolutely. Leave her alone. I mean, you're never too old to learn. In fact, this is the time when you still should be learning. Keep yourself learning. I consider myself a lifelong learner. I love to learn new things. That's how we keep the cobwebs out of our brain.
Right.
That's how we, how we just stay mindful and in the present by learning new things. So that woman, I'm proud of her. Good for her.
Yeah, she went back to school. But sometimes the kids don't think you're doing the right thing because they think they know everything.
Oh, of course. That goes without saying.
They think they know everything.
Of course.
But so your next book, I know you said this book you doing a lot. You don't have time to write a part 2. So is you thinking about, besides a children's next book, doing a novel, some type of like thriller or drama?
Not really. I think when I do settle down and write another book, it will be a sequel to this book.
The audience.
Yeah. No, I said if I when I do settle down and decide to write another book, it will be a sequel to Just As It Is. I'm going to stick to that because I do want to I guess develop the Abina character more. I want to develop her in a different way. So
okay.
More than likely I will definitely it will be probably related to Just As It Is, but it'll go in a different way. So I'm gonna stick with the children's book. Children's books, I don't know. I guess because I like the fact that whatever I do write about is going to be something that's going to be inspiring to children, and so you can get a lot of mileage from that in a children's book. To me,
right?
A novel's fine. It'll go where it wants to go.
Plus, children's book is so easy to write. It's a couple of pages.
Well,
you don't got to fill up.
Yeah, I don't know if I say easy.
It ain't easy. Far as the manuscript is easy. Far as like doing an illustration and all that, that's hard. But writing is the easy process to me. To me, yeah.
But
doing that illustrating and
your vision to life, that's the hardest part. But not only that, Darnell, promotion. I always tell I get new authors contacting me, especially children's authors, all the time. How did you get started? What did you do? I get this a lot. And I tell them, you can have the best book in the world, but if you don't promote your book and you don't know how to promote and techniques to use, you might as well put it up on the shelf because it doesn't matter. If nobody reads it, it doesn't matter. You have to promote and market your book. That's the hardest part of having any book.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying the writing part is easy.
Yeah.
But what do you do? Like all the authors that I published and stuff, I tell them that it's not over because you finished the book, because the book is complete.
Absolutely.
The real job is getting yourself out there now, promoting, going to these events, getting people to know your name. Like who's behind that author? Who wrote this book? Oh, I just met her. You understand what I'm saying? Absolutely. You got to get out there now. Now this when the real job come in at.
Yes.
That's why I said the writing was the easiest thing. Because now you got so much to do after that. You can't stop.
But that's why you have to have the passion for what you're doing then.
Right.
Because if you don't have the passion, you will stop.
Right.
You'll say, oh, this is too much work. And you will stop. It's too much work. And it is a lot of work. It is. It is.
It's promoting yourself. But guess what, Janice? Nobody don't promote you like you do.
Like you do. This is true.
Your biggest promoter.
If you don't do it, nobody else is going to do it for you because this is your baby, as they say. Nobody.
No, they will do it for you. They just ain't going to do it like you.
They
ain't going to care about how much they promote, how they do this. Like you going to care because it's your book.
Absolutely.
But they'll help you. You understand what I'm saying? I always used to do this when I had events in Newark. I used to get flyers. And me and my husband used to like give a group of people this flight, the handout in Newark, handout.
Yeah.
I was like, we don't waste all this money because I know they putting that junk in the garbage can. You understand what I'm saying? And that's why I said it ain't no promoter like you. You got to promote your own work. But I was like, Dad, because some of them don't, what do you throw? Because I think I threw a couple of flyers in the garbage. Not from me, but from somebody else. I just threw it in the garbage.
We've all done that.
So it's just that, and I tell everybody, you have to do the promoting. Don't depend on your husband, your sister, your mother, your cousin, your best friend, your boyfriend. No, because they're not going to promote like you promote. They're not going to do it. They're not. Right.
And the other advice that I give people who contact me, and I'll tell them in a minute, don't quit your day job. Don't quit your day job, because you're not going to become a millionaire unless you know Oprah Winfrey or Gayle King from CBS or Taryn Hall. These people, you're not going to be a millionaire but from writing a book. Because a lot of people think, oh, I'm going to make a lot of money. No.
Yeah, yes. No, you're not. No, you're not.
That way.
We talked about that yesterday, but let me tell you, I'm laughing because I quit my job. No, and I didn't think that I was going to be a millionaire. That's why I quit. I quit my job because I felt as though I was fulfilling somebody else's goal, and I had goals of myself. And I couldn't fulfill and complete my book because I'm tired when I come home from work because I'm fulfilling somebody else's goals. You understand what I'm saying? That's the only reason I said, they got to fire me. I got to make them fire me because I want to write a book so bad and I can't. And you know how you always think when you come home from work, you're going to do at least an hour writing or 2 hours writing. I'd be so exhausted. And then I had to think about it. Wait. I'm working for somebody else, even though I don't got no money. That's why I'm saying don't quit your job. Invest in what you want to do with the job.
Absolutely.
Don't quit your job. Just invest in what you want to do. Because when I quit my job, I was like, Dad. So I had to pay pieces of pieces. Like if I wanted my LLC, I had to get that, pay that. Then I couldn't do everything at one time because I ain't really had no money like that.
You were married when you did this, right?
Yeah, I was married, but I wanted.
You did have someone else,
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I had somebody else, but the point is that I wanted to write. I couldn't write because I'm so busy. Just say the owner of Sears, working at Sears. And I'm fulfilling their dreams. What about my dreams?
I hear you.
You understand what I'm saying? So I had to make them fire me. Yes, I did. I'm saying it. I made them fire me. Because but you know what? The girl was like, you can get unemployment. And I collect unemployment. But you know what? It was ease. Because when I collected unemployment, I was able to do this, to pay an editor. To pay a formatter, to do this. Right. Then I started my own publishing company. I didn't have to worry about getting up, clocking in, running late. You understand what I'm saying? So unemployment made me realize that I have goals. I'm gonna do my goals, and I hope and never don't have to punch a clock again. I just hope and pray that I don't have to punch a clock again. But that's what I'm saying. For those who quit in a job and don't have nothing to fall back on, like I did, I had unemployment, but it took like 3 weeks or something like that. But I knew I was getting unemployment. But for those who quit their job, don't do it. If you're going to quit, stack first. Stack some money up first. Stack your bank account up first. And then know what you're quitting. Why the reason you quitting. You can't quit your job because you don't like the boss. You can't quit your job. Quit your job if you got a goal to follow. If you're trying to start a t-shirt business, a candle business. You understand what I'm saying? But make sure, and that was what I like that. I wasn't stacking. I just quit my job. But then I felt easy because I can write.
You were blessed. Not everybody can do that, Charnel.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Stack your money up first. You understand what I'm saying? Don't depend on unemployment because this world going now. Ain't nobody gonna be able to get unemployment after they lose their job.
Absolutely.
So you gotta stack and you gotta save.
And that's the other thing too. There's money, especially when it comes to social media. There's money that you invest to promote your book. And that is a real consideration. I tell people, when I do my taxes at the end of the year or the beginning of the next year, I spend the most money in advertising. That's where most of my money
Yeah.
goes to, for advertising. Because if nobody knows about your work, what's the sense in having it? So
Right.
there's money, and the other thing is social media. You have to have a social media presence now. That is just what it is in the 21st century. You need
In
a
today's
social
world.
media presence. Yeah, it's not years ago you didn't need that, but now you do
Right.
need that because that's what
But years ago, we didn't. It wasn't like how it is now. Years
exactly.
ago.
Absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying? If we
Mhm.
would have had it, we probably would have needed it because we would have knew about it. You understand what I'm saying? But now that the world is changing, social. I was watching the news today. This barbershop, I think he was in Rhode Island or something. He had opened like 4 months ago, and a little boy, he was cutting his hair, and he told him to come. You know the shit. The little boy told the barber man, get on TikTok. You can make some extra cash. And people will come in there. If you do a good haircut, they'll look at their haircut and they'll like it.
Yeah.
He got so many views.
Yes.
Plus, he owns his barbershop. Plus, he making money on TikTok. Now, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And every time he do somebody hair, they post it on TikTok under his page.
Yep. Well,
so
it's all about. It's all about.
Yeah, and that's what it is now. It's the world. You can make money. I was telling the lady who braid hair that did my hair one time. I was like, braid hair on TikTok. Braid it. Just talk to the people. They come in and say, hi, how you doing? You know, and just talk, chit chat, like you're doing on the phone or something.
That's right.
But do it live and let somebody see your hair. You never know. You might get a couple of customers. You never know that.
You never know.
They live in your area.
Absolutely.
So it's so amazing, like how is social media.
Yeah.
And we older. So my grandson got to teach me a lot because I don't really know. But
I pay for the expertise. I mean, I know a little bit, but I pay for the expertise in some things. My children, my girls, they tell me a little bit. But you have to be up on top. You can't be. That's the other thing. You cannot be closed-minded. You have to have an open mind to different techniques to promote your book or promote your business. You have to have an open mind.
You got to come out that comfort zone.
You got to
come out that comfort zone. Because
sure.
you know we set in our ways. I'd be like,
No, yes, you have to come out of your comfort zone in order to realize, anything monetary or just to get the attention that you want to get. You got it's real out there,
Yeah.
But if it's something that you truly, really want to do, it's a very satisfying and rewarding experience. I find it to be very satisfying. I love it. Love it.
Yeah, that's true. Now let me ask you a question. Far as publishing, since you published your own book, the do's and the don'ts. What could you tell a new author, the do's or the don'ts?
As far as publishing or promoting, because
publishing, or you can throw in promoting too. But far as publishing.
Yeah, as far as publishing, I highly recommend self-publishing, but I know a lot of people will, and I've heard horror stories where they will not self-publish and they go with an agent sometimes. And then I've heard horror stories where they take most of the money or they have different ideas on how the book should be from the original, what the author wanted. So you got to make sure you have a good relationship if you don't self-publish. And someone else does it, like you're in that business, make sure you have a good relationship with that person and a good understanding.
Right.
In terms of
communication is the key.
The vision has to be one and the same in terms of what you want from that, from that book. But that's one thing. But self-publishing, it involves a lot of research. You have to use Google. You have to get on the phone sometimes and call people to help to explain, like copywriting, the ISB in them. There's a lot of steps that go with self-publishing that if you don't work with a publisher, you have to learn on your own. So you have to be, I would say, assertive, very assertive in terms of looking up the steps to do. I've had people do that too. They call me, they say, Janice, how do you self-publish? I said, I can't just sit down and tell you how to self-publish. Only thing I can tell you is to go on, because you can find it online, and they will give you step by step what to do, step by step. Because I did it myself to look step by step in terms of how do you get the ISB in there? Who is Bowker? Most people don't know who that is. How do you? It's a copyright. That's a whole other procedure in itself.
Yeah.
It's a lot of layers involved in publishing a book, self-publishing a book.
But
So my advice is to do your research. It's out there. The information is there. It's there.
and I think, far as me as a publisher, I think they still should do their research, period. Whether you got a publisher or whether you're doing it on your own.
Absolutely.
It's still good to do your research on both ends.
It's
you
true.
might not have to do it like
It's
more
expensive.
like if you self-publish.
Yeah.
But you still got to do your research. You can call me today, Janet, and you ain't know nothing about copyright. You understand what I'm saying? And I can tell you what I know.
Yes.
But you still got to do your research.
Yes.
Still
Oh,
do your
absolutely.
research.
Absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying? So that's why I say both ways. I think do your research, whether you got a publisher or not. You have to do your research.
Absolutely. Yes, yes. And the other thing I tell people on the author side too, to not live in a vacuum, it's real important to network. Network is so important. When I used to teach high school, back then I would tell students, network. You can network with anybody anywhere. You can network in the freaking supermarket. Somebody standing behind you in line. Hey, you know, you never know who you're going to meet. You know,
yes.
You work in the doctor's office. Networking does not stop. Just stop. It's everywhere. So network with people who write your genre, people who write different genres of what you write, because you never know what gems you can find or learn from a person who, when you network with people. You cannot do this by yourself. This is not a situation that you can do alone.
Right.
So I think that's very important. And that goes along, of course, with the publishing and the self-publishing as well. You got to avail yourself of all the resources that are out there if you want to be a success.
Right. And where do you see yourself at in 5 years?
On the beach. In 5 years, I would see myself definitely, if the world just settles down a little bit, doing some more traveling, and just relaxing and just enjoying life. Just enjoying life, because I have worked hard. I worked really hard for many, many years to get to the point that I am right now. So to get to that point 5 years from now, where I can just, relax, possibly have maybe 2 other books out, maybe relatable to what I do now. But yeah, that I see myself hopefully staying in good health, because that's good physical and mental health. Because I always tell people, if you don't have physical, mental, and spiritual health, if those 3 aren't together, then something's missing. So I hope to have all 3 of those things still intact and just enjoy life, because
you have to.
No day is promised. No day is promised to us.
Right. And don't let the littlest things stress you out. Stress is a deadly killer. It'll kill you. Stress. It'll kill you. But before I let you go, I just want the people to know that she's one of my speakers. Janice will be at the Women's Empowerment on May the 2nd. She's going to be there. She's going to be selling her books. She's going to have her books there. She's a vendor and a speaker. Yes. So I want to ask you this question. What made you say, yes, I want to just do the Women's Empowerment?
Because I think that my life story, my journey, because that is the subject matter, our journey, right? That is the theme. I think, and I was told this from a few people, I think my journey would be inspirational to a lot of people, whether they're men or women or children or young adults, would be inspiring to people. Once I outline my journey and where I, how I started, how in a number of different ways. For older adults who are afraid to try something new, I think I could be an inspiration. I could be an inspiration for breast cancer survivors.
Oh, wow.
An inspiration for women who were married many, many years. I was married for 35 years and had breast cancer 1 year, divorce, separation the 2nd year, and divorce the 3rd year. And I'm writing, I'm publishing, self-publishing, and promoting a book. I had a lot going on, and I'm still I'm still smiling.
Still standing, Janice. Still standing.
I feel very blessed. So I want to inspire other people to wrap their mind around having a purpose, and that there is life after challenges. You can pull yourself up, and there is life after challenge. So I don't want to give too much, but that's what I want my journey and my story to be about.
So y'all got to be there to hear the rest. Y'all got to be there. Y'all got to come to the Women's Empowerment going to take place at Toby Hanna, PA. So Janice, the last word, do you have any last words that you want to say to the audience before I let you go?
Well, basically the last word is to thank you for allowing me to have this platform to discuss and talk about my work. I hope, the audience will like my book, purchase my book and buy it. I want to say that they can check my website out at you have it up here anyway, www.janicekenyatta.com. I have different things that I do to promote this book and to promote this idea, this message of self-love and respect of others. And I would hope that parents would, consider purchasing the book, reading it to the children from anywhere from ages 3 all the way up to 6, 7, up to 9, 10. That would be the sweet spot in terms of getting this message into their heads. So I appreciate any support that the audience can give me to help promote my message. And I really appreciate you having me on your program, Charnel. And I definitely look forward to May 2nd.
Yes. Thank you so much, Janice, for being on Let's Talk to Podcast. And I'll talk to you soon.
Yes, you shall.
I'll talk to you soon. And especially because you're from Newark, New Jersey. Newark is in the house.
That's right. Newark is in the house, for sure.
All right. Thank you, Janice. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you. You do the same.
Okay, bye now.
Thanks for tuning in to Let's Talk To Podcast with author Charnel Williams. Tune in next time every Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And don't forget to live, laugh, and love.